Don't want anything crazy to happen while
Yeah.
we're recording.
Exactly. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the after party to our Tech Founders Brain Trust. One of the hot topics right now is how do you launch and build a beta customer program? I've got two ballers with me on the call today, and I'd like if you guys could take a second, just introduce yourself. Nick, let's start with you and move to Tyler.
All right, sweet. Thanks, guys. I'm Nick Prey. I'm a CTO and founder of Fastercise. I've got two other business partners, but I'm in the capacity of CTO right now. So I've worked at a couple different places as a software engineer before and been involved pretty well with their beta programs. And then I just right now am having the opportunity. We're at the tail end of, we haven't done an official launch. We've only been running through beta. And I got to experiment with some of my own methods this time. And I had way more success than previous times at other companies. So I thought I'd come in and try to share.
Cool. Sorry, my name's Tyler Fox. I'm the co-founder of a company called Katang. We're basically a mix between like Flipboard and Hootsuite. I call it a brand experience platform where basically you can come to our site, find content, and then share it to your social media channels or just curate it for yourself. The biggest difference being that it's free and it connects your name, brand, or business to everything that you share online. So, but I've also had a couple other startups. One was an iOS app, and the other one is currently just an app to help people arrange funerals and things for free. And all the software that I've created has been free, which has helped definitely get some initial beta users and get people in the door. And I've always found it's very successful. I mean, there's a few other sites that I've used, but to follow up with some automated emails, I usually use MailChimp for that. So once they sign up, I try to capture their email and then already have a set of automated emails, maybe that go out every few days, not to spam them or anything, but to ask for their feedback, whether that be a survey. It's always ideal if you can reward them with something, but just to gather that initial feedback on the biggest set of users that you can. So that's always been really helpful to me, and really trying to understand them and their needs and their position as well, not just, trying to get what you think is going to be good for your product, really trying to dive into the persona of the user and how you can help them. So that's always helped me.
Love that. Okay, cool. This is great. And this topic, I mean, it's so important, I feel like, to get right. And I think, Tyler, when you're talking about going for or trying to get as many beta customers as possible, let's unpack that concept a little bit. Let's start with who. When you're thinking about launching your beta program and your beta product, what are some suggestions you guys have when you think about who that needs to be and how you're going to target to them? How do you guys go through that process? What's worked, maybe what hasn't worked? What have you learned?
So I think we're a little bit of an advantage at Fastercise because we're kind of living off of one of my co-founders. He's an MD and he has a following for the specific field. But I think the recommendation I could probably give that would be impactful for everybody is first of all, you have to identify a subset of personas that you can target, right? And then don't be too picky about them, I guess, up front, because you don't really, this helps you with part of the exploration of what your product needs to be eventually. And I think one thing I was going to add on from before is I think the most impactful thing that we've been doing so far is treat it more like an alpha if you can, an alpha program, if anyone's ever heard of that, where you're throwing stuff to people as rough as it can be, because what you end up not putting as much overtime or overhead into what's going on. So one of the decisions I made when we've been doing this beta program is I didn't write tests for the code that I was writing for the beta. I didn't go through and write a bunch of metrics for all that stuff. I literally just had a UI, and a lot of times it was even kind of running with sticks and stones behind the scene. You didn't know what was going on, and I would throw it to people, and it was amazing how fast they helped me develop it, versus in the past when I was very specific and I had something very well built out and I gave it to them. They're like, this is not really what I'm wanting, but I see what you're trying to do there, and I don't want you to go rework things. And so I wasn't as attached to my product when I did it that way. And so that goes hand in hand with who to acquire. don't be so picky about it, because you might find that you totally were off on who you were targeting. And if you throw out this product that you're kind of thinking about, they'll help you develop it, and you'll also help identify the people that you're targeting it to as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, for me, it's always been about I've kind of been in the industries or involved with the technology that I'm trying to help solve a problem for, which has helped me a ton. But it's also opened my eyes exactly what you're talking about, Nick, just being able to explore the different types of user. Maybe you have an idea that this is the type of user that you need and that it's going to work for, but reaching out to other types, you know, because I know, I mean, for me, beta users and learning from beta users and acquiring them, it's always an ongoing process, right? Same with your software, your product. It's constantly evolving. So I like to also just reach out to people individually when I find a new type of user that I wouldn't have expected would be using it in that way before, and just seeing if they'd be willing to, you know, hop on a call with me and show me, give me some suggestions. Because one prime example is we kind of in the beginning of our product right now, like I said, we're still learning. We thought ideally it would be for, you know, these people who use this type of software on a regular basis and are paying for it, that will be our number one users, which a lot of them are, you know, but then there's a whole different type of user that we would have never even known unless, you know, we got a referral from somebody else who has a larger scale team. And they're like, you know, if it would do this and it could really help out our internal process. And they were talking about kind of just an internal process for them. And I was like, oh, that's a primo idea, you know, that's something that's good. So just like you were saying, Nick, being able to talk to a wide variety of, not, I mean, maybe not too wide, but at least don't get pigeonholed into kind of like the exact type of user that you think it is, and be willing to kind of explore the ones that will not only help grow your user base, but, you know, ideally help with that revenue part too. You know, I mean, finding those users that are like, you know, if you guys just had a few things here, we would love to, you know, create some kind of long-term relationship with you. And even if that's just kind of a, you know, a use case or user group that's going to give you a weekly feedback or monthly feedback or something, that's super valuable, especially if you can break that out into several types of users. So
Fantastic.
I hope that answers the question, Paul.
Absolutely. No, that's great. I think a lot of times, you know, when you go in to make a product, you do have somebody in mind, and a lot of times you can be wrong. So, you know, going back to the whole lean startup Eric Ries thing, where it's, you know, like you were saying, Nick, get super, super basic and release it out, and then find out where the path is going to lead you. And I love that perspective, Tyler, where you look at it from a revenue perspective. One of the things I struggle with is, you know, I can chase too many things at once. And I think this strategy can lend itself to that. And so I like how you gave me a map of saying, okay, well, yeah, you might have 5 different separate beta groups that this would work for, but that might be spreading yourself too thin. So a way you can prioritize that is who can get you the most revenue. And so that was great. In the last minute or so here, do you guys have any other thoughts, any other suggestions on creating and managing beta programs?
I just have one, and I think somebody said it in a breakout earlier today, and it's inspiring. It's just never give up, man. I mean, you always have an idea, like, and especially founders, I've noticed this, that can be really hard on themselves when it comes to acquiring new users and thinking that their product's a failure because they're not getting a bunch of people using it at once. But man, it's like that for everything I've ever done. Trying to get people to start using it is a challenge. So just don't give up and nurture relationships with people you're talking to. And sometimes you do have to be annoying, but sometimes it's just a reminder, you know, for them to just try it out. And as long as you're open and trying to help them and they feel like that, I think you're gonna get it, you know.
Yeah, I think I just want to add on to that a little bit with the relationship side of things. So one of our mentors, John Richards, out here in Utah, he was talking to us in his Startup Ignition course, and we were talking about the relationships that you can have with customers inside of these specialized programs that you would never be able to do outside of it, right? Like I think all of us have this desire to know exactly what makes people tick that we're selling to, right? Well, this beta program, that is the opportunity. So don't treat them just like another mechanical, like step through the process, get some metrics and treat them like numbers. You'll have to call them and you have to talk to them and you have to pick their brain apart. You have to start feeling what they feel, right? You have to be able to let them know that you care about it, and then you start getting honest feedback from them. And I think that's what is completely different about the beta program. You shouldn't treat the beta program as if it's a bunch of users that you're going to throw to the wolves. No, that's where you're supposed to spend your focus on finding out who those people are and what makes them tick in a way you would never have been able to before outside of like basic numbers, right? So
great insights. And kind of to add on to that, I was part of a tech company over client success. We did a ton of analysis on churn, and the most retentive customer is your early adopters, and your beta customers are your early adopters, and they are your most valuable customers, Nick, to kind of go on to your point. They retain longer than anyone else did because they saw the vision to begin with. And anyone that's going to go through beta pain is an early adopter, and they're going to be there for you. So super great insights. Tyler, Nick, thank you both for joining me. If you guys could put your information in the chat so that everyone here can see that and reach out to you and connect with you. Thanks again for your insights. And we will join. If you're a tech founder out there and you want to join the tech founder group, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. We get into conversations like this, no panels, no speakers, just peer-to-peer connection. And we'll see you guys at the next event. Thanks for coming.